Hey everyone, welcome back to Fed Up with me, the eternal miserable one. Fed Up Gaz couldn't even talk, man. Joining me today are the guys from Blazoner. How is it going, guys?
Good.
Wonderful.
Hey.
All good, all good. Hey, could you all just introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about what you each do in the band?
All right, I'm Brian. I play bass.
I'm Steven. I play guitar.
Andy Murray, drums.
And
Yes,
vocals
we're
as
all
well,
vocal.
is that right?
Yes.
Yes,
all
we're all-
vocal.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to start off with off the bat is when I listened through to the album, some of my particular standouts that I liked was The Servant, Fallout, Onyx Stone, and I can hear like I don't know if anyone said this, but a bit like it's like you've taken the filthiness and nastiness from Iron Monkey with the vocals y'all do, mixed with obvious riffage. I can hear bits like Buzz Oven, Leech Milk, Sabbath, and then the psychedelic parts like From Doors, even a bit of Hendrix actually. That I hadn't been thinking of that, even like the title there. The EP, so it was like all thrown there together, and I love nasty, filthy sludge as well. So were these? Did this all just come naturally to you as you're playing just all those elements and it came out?
Yeah, it came organically. We were in another project before for years, and so like we've been playing the music together for 20 years probably.
Nice.
But we're into a lot of different kinds of music and stuff like that. So, but it was a few years in the making. But at the same time, though, we definitely want to use this as a good foundation to grow on. In the future, so, but it was organic.
Nice. Yeah, I like that range you've got within the music. I thought it was a bit different, and I was watching, I think it was the video for Fallout, and you were doing your vocals whilst playing the drums, Andy, which is challenging as well, doing vocals while you're playing drums. I've only seen, it wasn't a metal band, it was like a ska reggae band called the Skints, and the guy does vocals on the drums as well in the background live. And that was so I'm just wondering, is it challenging, or does it just come naturally to you? Is it something you've always done, in prior bands?
Would never really like lead vocals on a track like that before, so it was kind of challenging. But the drums for that song aren't significantly challenging, so it kind of works together that way. But yeah, we had that. Just a powerful lyrical idea there, fueled by lots of emotion, and everybody was dealing with COVID and depression symptoms and blah blah blah, and so like that song really had something behind it, and we made it our own and kind of helped form this band, behind that idea of like, well, let's all contribute to the writing, bring forth vocals. As organic as possible, and like you were talking about earlier, natural sounding.
Yeah, I like that. That's how I do the shows. Sometimes I make gaffes, but I want it to be as natural as possible, not like like a scripted robot. So, this song rips, and then that's it. There's no follow on. It's just not. There's no emotion. And I'm like, you haven't listened to the music. We all can tell that. That was interesting. You said that you all work on the creative process as well together, Andy. You all do the writing. So do you bounce back and forth the ideas and say, look, yeah, this works. We need this part in the lyrics. We need to take this riff out or add a drum section here.
Yeah, it's writing is I don't know. Writing's, I feel like, it's tough sometimes. Sometimes songs fall in your lap just like that. But I feel like a lot of these songs from this album didn't really do that. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's songs that literally take us 3 minutes to put together, but then there's other ones where we can work on them for 3 months. And we demo and demo and demo and demo, and we, I'll listen to a demo 60 times over and over and over again to try to see if it's meshing well. Certain things you know, like we're totally confident about, and then a month later it'll be, well, I don't really know about that, you know, anymore. So,
Yeah.
but it's never like a done deal until it's recorded. I'm pretty much moved on from a song after it's recorded. But I know like with Andy, you know, Andy's like got a lot of good ideas for like some older songs before. Oh, you know, we should do this to this song. It's always great. You know, it's just like that's why like we like this band, because it's, you know, there's always somebody else to pick up the slack with like another idea. You know, but yeah, it's the writing process can be tiny or big. You know, it's really hard to tell.
Different iterations of the tracks and lyrics and things.
Yeah.
Go
So
through numerous ideas before something lands.
Yeah.
Right. So even like when a song's done, it's recorded. Even sometimes live, we just end up playing it different. You know what I mean? So just always trying to make it a little better or more fun anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Keeping it natural, keeping it real, so you're enjoying it. The writing process, that's always, I always get an interesting range of answers with guests about that. So yeah, I've had some people say like, I'm an absolute machine, I can just keep writing and writing and writing, and I think, man, that would be such a great problem to have. Someone's like non-stop and it's never stuck, because anyone who's tried any kind of writing for music, you know, stories, films, anything like that, I hate those moments where you get that like creative black spot where, and people always think like, oh, it's you can't write. It's not that you can't write. It's just you don't like anything that is from it. It's just like, this is whack. This is whack. This needs to go. And yeah, I think you've just got to keep going. It does pass.
I heard Peter Gabriel say one time that like the writing process for him was kind of like a fruit tree, where like, you know, when the fruit starts off, you know, it's a seed and then the tree has to grow. And then you have the fruit that will spring from the tree. And when the fruit is ripe, it's time to pick. And, you know, like he says that like sometimes it takes a while for the fruit to grow ripe. And I like that analogy of it, because it's, to me, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'll go through like a good 6-month period where it's like, I just want to write. And then like, I'll go for a year and really, you know, won't have any real fresh ideas, you know? So, but I definitely look forward to those moments, you know, where there's constant inspiration and, you know, it just goes and goes. But you know.
I feel like when we write the songs, though, we really try to cram in a lot of stuff. And I think if we had a problem during writing, if there was one, that's it, is we have so many ideas for a single song. And eventually we're listening to all these demos and we end up ditching a lot of different ideas to try to, you know, simplify or condense it. And I feel like that's how it typically goes for us. I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, it's great. Drawing inspiration anywhere we can, obviously, you know, want to have it make sense in the end, and be able to be absorbed, you know, easily, or try and strike a chord in somebody, I guess, you know.
You've got to be ruthless, which isn't always easy to till it spits out. I remember college professor of mine when I was doing creative writing and screenwriting, and I was writing a script, and he said to me, if you can't tell me in the script why this character's gonna say get to point B and why this is gonna happen, if you're having trouble, you can't do that. That needs to go. You need to just totally remove it, go on to something else. Because if you don't feel it and you can't explain it, the audience, if they're watching this thing, ain't gonna get it either. So that's always stuck with me, and it's a lot easier said than done at times.
Well, I totally get where you're coming from on that, and I feel like Steven and Andy hear things a little different than me. Since when it comes down to actually recording the album, we will actually record it ourselves. We don't really go out to a studio. So when I'm, you know, laying down the tracks and everything, and you know, I'm hearing things when we write stuff, what it's going to sound like on an album. I want the album to be cohesive, because if they can listen to an album front to back, then that's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm always hearing what's it going to sound like on the album. And I don't know about I don't know if like Stephen, I don't know if that's how you feel about it, but like it seems like no. It seems like what is gonna crush play live?
Yeah. Yeah, that's more like our thing. Well, I can't speak for myself. It's just, does it feel right live, you know? Whereas like Brian is more like, you know, the producer, kind of like the engineer, you know, so he hears like, dude, I don't know about that guitar part, you know, that might be a little much in the studio. Whereas like to me, it's, you know, there's 9 guitar parts on one thing. Yeah, that sounds great, you know, but sometimes that's a little overboard, you know. But that's good. That's why I like working with Brian too, is because, you know, he'll push back on some things that I'm totally sure about, you know. So it's my responsibility to be humble enough to be like, you know, maybe he's right. Maybe I need to listen to what he's saying because there's something here, you know. Maybe he's right. So, you know,
there's
sorry, go. No, talk on, right.
Yeah, there's a lot of give and take. You know, Stephen lets me know too. You know, well, I don't know about this here. So there's a lot of give and take in this, and yeah, Andy is the glue. He is definitely gluing up everything together for sure.
Keeps the team together.
Steve's the beginning, I'm the middle, and Brian's the end. You know, the foundation, and you know, Brian's the end result, quality control. You know, punch out.
Yeah. You seem to certainly have a good chemistry for sure. To put a sports analogy on it, you know, you obviously take time to get the style of play correct, so it fuses together nicely before you get the end goal, for example. Since I saw that sports jersey, man, it's just the football jersey. It's just set my sports nerd brain off, which isn't hard to do. So I'll get back on topic just for a moment or two. I'm terrible, man. You've got a nice opener as well, a nice instrumental to Escape to Electric Land, which is called Electric Land. And I feel that this kind of gives people, you know, who are going to listen an impression for the journey that they're going to take. So was that always the intention to have that instrumental there so that would have that effect on people?
No. Yeah. We're all about it. And I think that's the instrumental, the intros and the in-between tracks, all of that Electric Land stuff. I mean, I knew there was going to be something maybe gluing everything together. On our previous project, we were really into that. And I think that's something we kind of wanted to carry over. Because like I said before, we're like album people. I know singles are the thing now, but I still really like putting on an album and losing myself in it. And that's kind of what Electric Land's about.
Definitely.
Yeah, not just live. You know, it's in the albums.
I feel it's like a homage as well, and I mean this in a good way, to those like psychedelic albums from the 60s where people would take that journey. And I've talked with a lot of, you know, other bands about full-length albums, EPs, or just releasing tracks. And to be honest, the majority of them, 80% of them, I would say, are still for full-length albums. There is some who've said, no, we'll do EPs or single tracks. But the majority, and I've noticed this with the fans, I think in the metal scene, I was going to say hardcore and punk, but the songs are so short anyway. Like an EP is over before you've even got to the bathroom, man. So I'm not going to use that example. But I feel in the metal community, the fans are still appreciative of full-length albums. There's still a lot of support there. They want to hear that. So I feel, I'm not saying there isn't a section where they'll just want to stream it on Spotify, one song or whatever. But I feel we still have that more passion in that scene. That's not to disparage any other music. So yeah, and I think because you were drawing from, you can hear the other genres, the other styles coming through on the album. I think this needed more of a full length to do that justice. Rather than one track or two. For example, it's a perfect segue into talking about The Servant. Great mix with the vocals there. Same with the riffs. And on the right-hand side, I found this particularly interesting. And the reason why is, from what I was reading, The Servant explores experiences of manipulation, You've got the riffs there, got the nice aggressive vocals, speaks to me all day, that. And this is what I found interesting on the writing part as well. It says in this song, it is the servant who is the victim of manipulation. But one day they wake up, they start to change their situation. So it's got like that self-realization part, which could be fit a number of situations, personal relationships, at work, anything like that. So I thought that was a really good, solid, if you like, dark real world example that really does flow with the music. So that one certainly grabbed my ears from the off for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that song. Like I think all of us have experienced that. Whether it be like in a relationship or someone that you work with or a companion or like religiously or whatever it is you're into, you've experienced something like that.
Yeah.
So that song to me, it's just that that was just the best way to describe that. And at that time, personally, like I was going through a lot of that in my personal life as well. So, but yeah, that's definitely a heavy one for sure. So
you pretty much summed it up with the self-realization thing. I think that's basis of the whole band's, conception really was we're just kind of doing some other projects that weren't really what we were feeling for real on the inside, and now we can kind of do that now. So
yeah, and that's why I like that I was an advocate for that preacher sample in the beginning, because it was like, this guy is somebody that like this whole congregation of people like look up to, and this dude's like, I'm talking here, you listen to me, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, whereas like, you know what I'm saying?
Steven, he called me up one day. He said, look, you got to look up this preacher and have something to do on that song with that. I was like, all right. He just gave me the idea, and I found the clips from a couple different preachers, mainly from I think one that he was telling me to do, but he just let me roll with it, and it worked out really good. So good job.
Yeah.
That's an interesting story. I was talking with the guy from 20 Watt Tombstone a little while ago. Fantastic band. And he has a song kind of about that kind of, I don't know if it's not the same person, but that kind of preacher where they're supposed to be there for the good of the community, supposed to be a moral, upstanding figure representing the faith, etc. But it's like a snake oil merchant, complete opposite. They just want the money. It's like the folks, you see them at all the conventions in a big, massive business, in their business suits, walking around, and soon as like, just, call now, pledge whatever, or, give me your bank details, guarantee we'll be there every month. And you're like, come on, man. And I know those kinds of people. Yeah, exactly. Those kinds of people are in everything. So that was interesting. And also, do you all think real world experiences and real world examples of, I guess, horror in the way human behavior, things like manipulation, that can make heavier music even more dark because that's drawn from something real? It's not like the fantasy horror.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel so that way. Yes. I think a lot of our future songwriting is going to be still fueled by that a little bit, like we got an idea in the works about kind of a duality of man, and there's all the crisis going on in the Middle East, and it's pretty horrible things to hear about, and like not that we don't have a political stance or any kind of stance like that. We're just, this is some real heavy stuff that needs, that could be sung about and talk about a bit.
Yeah, there's certainly no shortage for inspiration, sadly, if we do look at the climate of the world as well. I personally don't consider myself political, but it is kind of alarming things that are happening, how people are behaving if they disagree or they say they vote for a different political party and they're like, wanting to kill it. And I'm like, it's madness. You're like in the middle of it and you're just thinking, Well, it's like to go on sports again. You can have that banter, that rivalry with someone who supports a different team. But at the end of the day, if they are the better team during the game, I will admit, I'll say, so look, you guys were better. You did the better play.
No,
Because,
not me.
yeah.
Not me.
No, you sour. You sour. It's like those fanatical soccer fans, man.
Yeah.
So, coming to the next one, Ghost, quite a nice sludgy-ish one as well. So, just wondered what the inspiration was behind the title, and where you drew from lyrically, and how you matched the music to go with the theme as well.
Well, I think, I know musically that'll be Steve. That was the main riff, Steven's riff, and then the chorus is one thing that I brought in, but the lyrics came after all that. So, but I don't know where this. I think Steven,
it's so weird because like when we demo, I don't mind telling you, like a lot of times I just do blah blah lyrics, and then I just pick words that like have the same syllable that fit the blah blah,
Yeah.
And but like I'll go back and I'm like, wow, it's kind of weird how subliminally things will just come, But I think that kind of the Ghost to me is more like, that inner person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That really speaks to you, like when like, what belongs to you and the right thing to do. And that conscience is constantly like, dude, you got to straighten up. You got to do this. You got to do that. So it's like, take this journey from the gallows, it's definitely, that conscience that you have, it definitely takes you on a journey, and that to me, that's what Ghost is about. It's about, your inner, that spiritual part of you that, that can kind of guide you through that or whatever. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's where we're going, Andy.
Yeah, Steven's got it.
No, that's a pretty smooth part. Yeah, Steve did most of the songwriting on that one. That's Steve's song, and I don't know, it had a nice balance to it, verses and choruses, and a really singy chorus, and we're just not afraid to try those kinds of things and whatever, and make it sound like rock. It's got a rock, and it does. It worked out pretty good.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of like early Soundgarden, kind of like with that main riff, and then like it's got a different like weird time signature, and that's something that what I mean, like we do. So we're trying to get more into that kind of thing too. So
yeah, I noticed that with the album, you've got a bit of a grunge undertone.
Yeah, I mean that's the era I grew up in.
Yeah, no, it's all good stuff. Like I said at the beginning, the different bands I could hear even I Hate God as well. That thrown in there, and then on like you say yourselves on, I can hear like the psychedelic parts remind me, the Doors, even all that era, the Beatles too, all of that era from there, and it's like fused together. And I like on some of the songs, which will perfect segue into Fallout actually, where you're going from clean to filthy vocals as well. So you've got that nastiness then into like a clean kind of hard rock grungy-ish part. I thought that was really complimentary to the whole feel of it. So Fallout, I watched the video for this as well. And it it said this one's certainly got the rhythms there. It's got a very darker, rawer edge to it as well. As I said, I think at the start of the conversation, this was one of my standout tracks from the album, along with Onyx Stone, The Servant, and Misfortune as well. That was one I enjoyed a lot. So for this one, loaded question again, I guess. I'm going to put you all on the spot. Did you just when you were making the music for this one, just want to do something that just had that real nasty, grimy mix, and then bring in a bit of the grunge hard rock side with it as well?
I think what happened was, this is actually kind of an old riff. Well, I say old. 2019, 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember coming up with it. It might even been a little slower. It was just, and we kind of all liked it, just jamming on that for a long time. A few other things here and there. But once this project started, that was the more it really started to take shape, where we were able to focus in on something as, like, we almost at one point weren't even going to do this. I remember, oh, well, maybe this riff isn't strong enough. It's, basically it's 3 chords, right?
Yeah.
But it worked. And once again, Andy with the glue, I just remember him coming in one day, is like, oh, I've got all these lyrics. It's like, bam, all these lyrics. Oh shit, now it's a song. And he's got it. He's good. All right,
yeah, actually demoed it, just drums and vocals by themselves in my garage here, and was sent it to the guys. And there was maybe a show or two in our previous band where we had played it, but it so that one was the one that bridged the gap.
Yeah.
We were going through some tough times here, and I had written some pretty powerful, like, true emotions that I was feeling, and like and trying to look for ways to deal with that and stuff. And then so we had the music already, and that was a big help for me. Just layer those vocals on top of there, and so it's off and running.
Yeah. So, okay.
Sorry, no, it's all right. Go on, Brian.
I was gonna say, yeah. So we've got like the main riff, and then the vocals bring everything together. And there's in a song like this, we've had a few songs like this in our previous project, and other songs. But you'll have that crazy middle part where it's just a descending, and then like right on back up. And it's supposed to be this absolutely insane part, like really like aggressive. It's like, man, this is emotional. But I'm telling you, when we were writing that, we were all giggling our asses off. It was so fun to play.
Polar opposite.
Yeah. Well, that whole song was supposed to be like a chromatic thing. Like, I don't know if you know, like music theory, chromatic is when you just go from one note to the next note to the next note and back down. So the whole song is like chromatic, like the riff is. That was what was funny about it. It's like, let's keep on being chromatic in the song. So that's what we did.
Yeah. I'm a total thrash metal head, so I just wanted to
do the same. I'm a huge hardcore punk guy, thrash crossover, grindcore, everything, nasty sludge. And when you get lots of the sludge hardcore crossover, then death metal. So yeah, I'm the extremes first, but I like other stuff as well. Probably why the show's soon going to be called MOSH SHINOBI, because it's going to focus on I guess extreme underground heavy metal, a lot of it, bands like yourselves with death thrash, and then sometimes other genres. And the reason I'm doing it, and I'm getting a word out about this on the show at the moment, is I had the noble intention, guys, of when I first started Fed Up. It was a comedy title, Fed Up, always fed up about something. And I thought, let's open it to all music, even music I don't like, do something positive. Yeah. I think I had, like I said, noble intentions, but I think I didn't realize for the headache that was going to involve, where I've started to get contacted by so much, be honest, music, pop music kind of thing, which is, I'm like, this does not go with what the channel's about. The audience ain't going to dig that. And I thought this needs to get back to some kind of metal, punk, hardcore kind of bass. I mean, predominantly a lot of the shows are bands such as yourselves anyway, but I thought it was just becoming so stressful. So we could turn the attention back to your music. Fallout, and you said something when you were talking, Andy, that you were going through a lot, you were dealing with a lot. So is that what the song's alluding to, the title and the themes, dealing with the fallout from a situation?
Yeah, unfortunately, you've fallen out the relationships as well, and like having to learn about codependence and detachment, you know, from like something you really love to be a part of, you know, and how much it hurts at the same time, you know what I mean? But it's all good, you know. Things have been working for us, and I'm happy to be playing music, a lot more active, you know, doing, you know, playing shows with these guys now and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, music's good for the soul, man. It's good therapy. So
Yeah.
just before we talk about some of the other tracks, and you just mentioned shows there, I know you did your last show of the year recently with the Saturn Death Cult and Chemtrails. I think I know Chemtrails, but I haven't listened to them for some time. So, you know, how did that show go, and how have people reacted to the songs that you're playing from the album?
Well, this was Chemtrails' first show, I thought, so it might be a different Chemtrails. Am I right, Stephen, in that?
Yeah, it was their first show.
Right.
Yep.
Right, yeah, it's a different Chemtrails I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it went over well. It was funny because at the last minute, one of the bands dropped off. We had 4 bands. And so it's like, hey, guess what? We get to play for like a really long time now. Quick, add some more stuff to the set. It's going to be okay. But no, it was a good response from that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool, man. We've gotten to really see it grow a lot. I mean, it's out of like all the projects I've ever been a part of, this one's been like by far the best, you know. I mean, we you know, we just really hunkered down and you know, made some tough decisions, and I'm really glad we did that. Now like we're here and we're doing this organic music that's just coming out, you know, and I think a lot of people resonate with it. I'm really grateful, and you know, I'm really happy to be sharing it with the world, and I hope that, you know, more people will get a chance to check it out. And it's been really cool too, and like everybody's been really cool to us, man. Like tons of bands and like in the scene and just regionally and stuff like that. It's been awesome. It's been really cool. So
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So thankful for all the positive feedback and everything we've been getting, support from everybody, people that really matter in the music scene community and stuff. It's great.
We've only been playing shows since April of this year. Whoa. So I think Andy said what have we done, like 13 shows this year, something like that? I mean, that's like 12 shows. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but for us, I mean, 6 months, 7 months time, you know, that's you know, but next year we were really planning on like, you know, putting the pedal to the metal and getting out there. We got 2 tours we're planning. We got, you know, we want to do a lot more releases and really cool stuff. So
what's going to happen?
We're hoping now that we've gotten the album out and it's circulated a little bit, we can get a good response, you know, and traveling in other cities and stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So where are you planning to tour? Which states are you looking to hit?
Well, right now we're just mainly concentrating on regional stuff, like within like a 6-hour drive of where we live. And then after that, once we kind of do that, then we'll figure out what the next step is from there. But just right now, just keep it small, keep it like manageable for us. You know, we'll go out for 3 or 4 days, get back, and then plan another one in 2 months, go do 3 or 4 more days, you know, and then like stuff like that. Mainly like, you know, we live in Virginia, so we can pretty much play anywhere on the East Coast, really, within a 6 to 8 hour radius, and, you know, it'd be okay. So, but yeah, we plan on like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, you know, New York. You know, we definitely want to do all that this year. So we're definitely gaming for that. But the first 2 runs we're doing are mainly southern runs. But then after that, I definitely want to try to do some festivals next year and whatnot.
Yeah. Best to build from there. I'm gonna behave myself and ask about the future music and releases until we finish talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all right. No, I'm saying that to myself until we finished about Escape to Electric Land. Oh no, it's not your fault. It's me. I'll behave myself. Just trust me, man. Like I can go nerding off topic quite easily. So, you know, I guess the halfway point on the album Onyx Stone. Now, this was another favorite of mine because I liked real heavy, like real heavy ass monstrous riffs like that were okay. That were really, I felt menacing, really chunky. Really hit you. Vocals as well. Really goes with it. This was just one, like I said, with some of those nasty sludge bands that I mentioned as well, then mixed with the stoner and all the other elements. So this is one I enjoyed a lot. I just again wondered if you could break it down for the meaning behind the title of the song, the themes, and then I guess just how you come up with the music for this one, because it's a nasty one, which is good.
Well,
you go ahead, Brian. Brian can do the better music.
All right, so like this came from a jam, and we've still got the recording somewhere. I think Steven's got the recording actually, but it came from a jam, and it was like this weird kind of it wasn't off time so much as it was the beat was on a different, hit. We had that again, like 2019 or something like that, and we just kind of brought it back once we started writing for this project a bit more last year. And it's funny, like you say, like if someone says, "Oh well, this song like Ghost, that maybe like Steven's Baby or this song is so and so's baby," but this is really definitely like all three of us coming together. This is we were like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is like all of it. I mean, really, the whole album's kind of like that. If every project we were ever in was working up to a point where three people can get on the same page, this is it. But to me, Onyx Stone is definitely one where this is all of our ideas in one.
Yeah.
We were right in the thick of the songwriting process during that time. Yeah.
Vocally, like I was trying to go for like a classic black metal like tone like thing. Like I've never done that like in any of the projects I've ever wanted to done. So like I just wanted to keep the vocals like really sinister and kind of like have that overall aesthetic to them. So I think it turned out really cool. I definitely want to bring that character back in the future, some future stuff. But that's the Onyx Stone man. So I'm not sure what that dude's name is, but he's a pretty evil guy. So but
he likes to sing about consequences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's our Eddie, I guess.
Yeah, that's Eddie.
Come up with something.
It's happened to that folklore as well, like all those tales we hear. I've referenced before, like Robert Johnson, meeting the devil at the crossroads, drawing from all of those stories and characters.
Dude, that documentary is awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it, man. I love it. I love that. It's one of my favorite ones. It's like a Netflix one. It's great.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like what was it? One of the dudes from Sabbath said, I can't remember which one it was now. He woke up on his bed and he saw like this dark figure supposedly pointing at him or something, and that was pretty much the influence, I think, for either an album cover or the title of it, something like that. It was. I'm like, man, I've always a lot of people will laugh at stories like that, or when they hear things say that have happened to someone. I'm like, until it happens to you, until you're in that position where it's like, what the hell is this? Because, oh man, I'm interested in all those kind of things, like with the mysterious creatures. All the sightings out, I find all that interesting, and people say, I've got an open mind to it. They'll be like, oh no, that doesn't exist. I'm like, well, got to think if you're in that situation as well, and there's something that doesn't. And I think it gives it more credence when it's particularly someone who's very well trained professionally in survival skills, someone from the military, a pilot, whatever, something like that. And I'm like, man, if they're reporting something like that, there's something to it. So so the Onyx Stone is, again, as you allude to, is that what this song is all about? That character there and that sinister presence and his foreboding appearance, I guess.
Yeah, that was another one where we just went in the practice space and I just started doing a bunch of blah blah lyrics and I just like just put a bunch of sinister words over the blah blah, and then it just was like, wow, this guy's turned out cool. So yeah.
You know what he'll if we have a riff, something we're working on, like just an idea, we'll write it on the board, and well, what are we gonna call this riff? All right, it's called Onyx Stone. It's really just something to keep us. That's what this riff is. Okay, so now Steven runs. He just runs with Onyx Stone. If the riff was called Cheese Block, it would have been something totally different. You know what I mean? So at one point,
Monster. Cheese block.
Some nasty cheese around.
Right. At one point, I even looked up Onyx Stone. Okay, well, let's look this up. And now it's like you're into like stones that people carry around to ward off like past consequences and stuff like that. Oh, okay. So then Steven, he's got his own thing, and then at one point Steven's like, all right, well, if you got lyrics based on that, then you can do it here, and you can kind of drive the point home. It's like, oh, okay. And then now we've got a song.
Yeah. I think I love the atmosphere in this one, as I've said, and that I mentioned earlier. I'm probably going to contradict myself here and be a live hypocrite when I was, mentioning drawing from real world experiences can make heavier music even darker and heavier because it's something not fantasy based. But this is a good example of going on the flip where you've got the character. It's a good story set and it's got that atmosphere. It makes my nerdy imagination go crazy. Like, for example, if I'm thinking of Doom, Stoner, and Sludge, like, this could be the name for probably every band ever as well. Like a Bogwraith coming for you or something. But yeah, so it had the feels of something like that. It's probably why it was again another one I really enjoyed. Another coming to Misfortune. Well, it'd be Misfortune if you were taken by a Bogwraith for sure. This was another that I liked a lot. One of the longer tracks, nice change in tempo, I feel. Got the nice element at the end of the song as well to close it out. So I just wondered again if you could break it down, how you put the music together, name of the title, I mean, the influence behind the title of the song, and then some of the themes behind it as well.
I think as far as the song as a whole, if I can remember, you guys have to try to jog my memory, but I feel like this was one of the longer ones it took to write. Am I right in saying?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a bunch of ideas, and this was one of the songs where we're all just trying to put in all these ideas and we're trying to fit it into a thing. Eventually we got to kind of strip them here and there. Like even the part where it drops down, before it drops down to the slower part, there's just like a one note that we hold down. Like even that was put in at the last second. Like, let's do this. Okay, but we're gonna record in like a couple of weeks. That'd be great. Let's do it. So and it worked out. It kind of worked out a bit, I think. But as far as that's another one where this was Andy's really gluing it together lyrically, and the fade out. We've never done a fade out before, and we were just kind of joking when we were writing it. Hey, we should just let this one play out, and we'll fade out. We've never done a fade out on an album before. Okay, yeah, let's do it. So that was always the intent. We do have an ending for it live, but we really wanted to do a fade out as far as recording goes.
Yeah, this song went through several iterations, and it's got different movements in there, and it's an oddball song, but I thought it still really worked well. Complimenting kind of each of us as well, but lyrically it was more of an angry song, kind of venting frustration and dealing with those that don't see how their actions affect you, and and sort of, I don't know, needing to speak about that.
But sometimes,
go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right, man. I feel when I'm asking some of these questions as well as they come to me, and I know some of these songs are obviously drawn from personal experiences. That there's no way I'm expecting everyone has to go into detail, about that either. I can relate to some of the obvious themes within the songs as well. I think a lot of people can who've been through similar experiences, and I think that's what one of the strongest qualities about it is outside of the music, is because it's got that strong relatable draw, and it can be open to interpretation as well. Music and art is a good way of us releasing it positively. You mentioned earlier big thrash fan, Andy, the same me, and with hardcore as well, and getting that aggression out in that positive way and those frustrations, man, and it's like that release. So there's lyrically, I think people will certainly resonate with it, Misfortune, because it can be interpreted in a number of ways. I think we've all dealt with those individuals, both personally and in work settings. Even in the music scene, you'll have come across them where they're completely devoid of their own behavior towards others and the results that brings. And there's only so much tolerance people will have for that, where they say, okay, enough's enough. If you're not going to learn and change yourself, because if everybody else has the issue with you, sometimes you've got to stand there and think and look in the mirror and think, well, maybe the person that is the problem is actually me. If everybody else, because it's not just then one or two haters say, one or two people. If it's the commonality with everyone, it's like, well, you need to change your ways. So again, but it makes for a good song, though. It really does. So we'll move on to Time Shift. This was one I felt was the real, like, I mean, of course I can hear the doom on the other songs as well, but I felt this was the real doom metal one. Very, very, very Sabbathy as well. So I just wondered again if you could describe the process of putting the music together for this, and then the influence behind the title and lyrics. So yeah, another loaded question.
Yeah,
I feel like this one's more Steven and Andy in this. In fact, I'd go ahead and say that one. I kind of felt myself floating through the writing process in this. I mean, in the middle part where it's like the big kind of like, stringy chords. That was kind of me, but I think Steve and Andy were more writing on this one. What do you think, Steve?
yeah. I mean, that song, especially that riff, is kind of difficult to play and sing at the same time. So my whole thing with songwriting is to find, like little pockets of places to put vocals, kind of like Wino in The Obsessed. He always go to a chord and then like the vocals are right there, and then you go back to the riff. Go on the chord, the vocals are right there. So that was kind of like with that song, and like we hadn't really done a lot of harmony vocals on the record, and that song is nothing but like vocal harmonies and stuff. So, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. Time Shift, to me, it just kind of goes into that same thing where it's like your surroundings, you're seeing the way things are going, and you decide to do something about it and change it. So you shift the time, you take responsibility and take control of these situations. You know what I mean? And you just get yourself out of it. And that song's got a really cool like little midsection there where it almost kind of gets like almost semi kind of dark shoegaze kind of. So that's definitely one of my favorites on the album. So
yeah, Andy coming in with the 16 beat there real fast.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm surprised how the vocals are real clean on that one, but it's even one of our heavier tracks on there, and just surprised how well that blended together. And again, it's just because time is finite. There's only so much of it. Just act now and make it count, man. Get out there like we want to do with this band, instead of just like going nowhere and playing for nobody. Like, let's make music for everybody, play for everybody, whatever,
Yeah.
And
Sorry, go on, Brian.
I was going to say something about that song too. Is it just kind of happened? It seems like two parts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we can split it up if we want to. Like we did that the other Friday night. We're like, look, we're just going to do a time shift 1. Okay. So we'll do the first part, and maybe later on down the road we'll be able to, because there is a definite like 2 parts in that song. We could probably do the second part too, and you know, the full stop is kind of the same way as well.
It's funny you mention full stop, because I feel it's like a good bridge into that song, and how that closes as well. It has that similar feel, like you said. It's got 2 parts to it, which I thought gave it another dynamic. Just the way it closes out the album, like I said, you've got obviously there's the heavy basses there with the music that's there, but it's drawn from all these other genres that we've been discussing in the conversation. Those are clearly present, and as I said, it's like, okay, to put a spin on Time Shift, I guess, if you think you would take like a doom stoner band, put them in the 60s, and this is a compliment, and then add in that psychedelic kind of vibe from that time, that's pretty much what a lot of I was drawing, and I do not mean that in a bad way at all. You know,
I'm there.
Yeah. I think a lot of people who were there at that time probably can't remember it for obvious reasons. Good luck. They probably did need a professor then to document everything. Like, someone's got to talk about all this music because no one else is going to remember.
We actually do a Genesis cover from '68. It was from their first album. It's In the Beginning. And this is back when before they kind of found their prog roots, but there was a little bit there, and it was, if there was a harder song, that was kind of it, although it was poppy. And so we took that song and we made it heavy. And so it kind of fits in with that 60s, you know, weird psychedelic thing going on. It fits perfectly.
You can still do, I've brought this point up with other guests on the show, you can still as well make like heavy, clean music, or even, you know, when you get, I've mentioned this in the last couple of episodes, Dark Country, for example, Southern Gothic, where it can be very, very mellow, but there's still like a sinister vibe about it. It could still be very dark lyrics. And it's like a different kind of alternative, I guess. It's the only way I can put it, but it's certainly got the atmosphere. And I feel Full Stop has that. So did this just, I'm curious of this one, because you play music organically. So I'm wondering, and this must be my nerdy mind overthinking here, did this come from just a jam and seeing where it went and thought, all right, we'll go with this?
Yeah. So, all right, here's the thing. And it's actually the second part.
Complicated. It's complicated, right?
Really, it's complicated. Well, I'll see you later.
No, it isn't.
The second part of it, when it goes into like a 5/4 timing, you know, that's something we've had for a long time, and we used to close out shows in our other project like that. That was, you know, when we were really talking about doing this project, that was one of the things we didn't want to lose, because it's out there. That, to me personally, when we wrote that bit, and we wrote it like 10 years ago, that was one where I felt we really, as me, Steven, and Andy, really started to come together on, and it did come out of a jam. But that was a jam that fell right in our lap, and it worked right off the bat. And all we had to do was just play it out a few times, and it worked. And we just, at the time, we tacked it on to the end of a song that we had. And, you know, but eventually we got rid of the first part of the song and just played that second part for its closing shows. So we kind of took that and ran with it again, and we created a whole completely different song around it, and it works out great. I think this is the song that it was really meant to be.
Is that one of the most rewarding things about playing together, that you are making music organically, that it's drawing from such a wide range of music, not just the heavier side? That must be very satisfying as musicians.
Oh yeah. To me, it's the relationships, like I've known these two guys for 20 years, and it's cool. And it's cool because every week I get to like see them,
Yeah.
and we like, I don't know, we're in this place where like, we have jobs and dogs and kids and all these things, but band practice is like this sacred time.
Yeah.
Where it's like we just get together and we just get to play music together and enjoy each other's company. And honestly, I feel so blessed and grateful to have that, because there's a lot of musicians, even musicians I know, that like are just struggling to even find a band, like people to jam with, and my heart goes out to those people because I wouldn't know what I do without it. I love just doing this project and these two guys particularly,
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah. I feel like that, full stop, when we were kind of originally wrote like the guts, of that song years ago, I had started playing with this other project with Steven and Andy. And we had kind of hit pockets of writing where I was like, oh, this is good. This is okay. Yeah, this is good. But when we wrote that part of, full stop is when I was like, I can't quit this. I can't stop playing music with these guys. This is what I've been looking for. So, and I think I don't know if it was a realization that, oh, okay, heavy music can be out there, what I mean? But that's what I was starting to realize. So it's like we kind of focus in on that, and then let's base a project around that.
Yeah. So taking that full stop and then doing something positive, right? We've got our foundation, we've got our solid base now. Let's run with this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So, sorry, Andy.
No, that's cool.
Please just cut me off because I can talk for the world, and sometimes I've unintentionally cut people off. So please just jump in, and I will just go.
No, I agree with what they're saying. Just fortunate to be able to do this, and been enjoying it. And, now it's kind of giving back something to each of us as well, and it's you got to get out and just cut everything off and jam every once in a while,
And you're right, and that's our escape to Electric Land. That's kind of where that started to come from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The more we got into, all right, here's the recorded songs, here's the in between tracks, and it really that's where we kind of started talking about it. It really is our escape. You know what I mean? And that's what Andy's touching on right there. That's what this whole album's about.
Yeah. And sorry, I've done it again.
No, that's it. That's just...
Yeah. Well, I was just about. I usually start with guests with looking at the artwork, actually, and I forgot today. Again, doing things organic. Well, you made me just think of the cover where you were saying it's like Escape to Electric Land, because if you look at the cover, you've obviously got the name of the band there, and you've got like all of these lights, like it's some interstellar highway to like another place, like to an escape where you can jam, play, do whatever. I feel that cover pretty much has that contained within it, what you just said, Brian. So who did that for you?
Steven?
What do we do? We went to artgrad.com. We went on the website and we just started picking things like, hey, I like this. Hey, I like that. And we probably picked 100 album covers. I don't even know. Like Brian would look at some things and email us, and I'd look at some things and text them. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And so we finally like found that one, and we were like, oh, that'd be cool. So we just kind of took that, and then we just added our logo to it. And it just kind of seemed like that would be the best choice, Album covers are such I don't know, it's hard to really pick a good album cover, because there's so much good stuff out there, and it's like you can say, oh, I want this, I want that. But I mean, until you actually see things, like I'd rather look at 1,000 album covers and pick something rather than be like, oh, I want a warthog and a bet or whatever. I mean, So, but we definitely do like the abstract kind of stuff with album covers. Like, like I know Brian is really, we spoke about Genesis, and their early stuff is, those cool covers, and David Bowie and Brian Eno liked all of his album covers. They're always like, for ambient music, they're always pretty cool. So.
Yeah, it certainly.
Yeah, I like the abstract. It has a little bit of color in it, which is kind of different than a lot of other heavy bands' artwork and things. But it fits the music real well, and I really like how everything's coming at you. Like the lights beams are coming at you, and kind of want to keep that a recurring thing.
There's a full spectrum, isn't there? And it's got that retro feel as well. Because usually, like with a lot of going to upset people here, and it's not that I don't like any of these bands either, but usually, especially with any band that's story oriented in any way, it's always got like a goat on the cover or something. Like, why does it always have to be a goat? You can just have a picture of it, it can still be the music, come on, man. Another goat. Yeah.
we use a lot of weird like lighting and stuff for our shows. Like we use a lot of smoke and lasers and strobe lights, so the whole light thing and that kind of that thing is just a part of our live show. So that's why that definitely is something that, is important to us. So
it sounds like you put that good atmosphere into your shows then as well.
It's sometimes it's tough because it's a lot to mess with while you're trying to play. Okay. I'll tell you, like I'm really trying to concentrate on playing while I'm up there, and I've got lights that I'm changing and all these different pedals, and I swear if I mess up Onyx Stone one more time because I'm messing with all this stuff, it's like, come on.
It's I don't know, it's definitely an uphill battle, like and then like there's some venues where like we had this guy tell us one time, I don't do strobe lights. You don't know doing strobe lights here. I have epilepsy. And it's like, okay, I understand that. But I mean, that just means that we need to do something different that night, that we normally wouldn't do. So, I mean, there's definitely venues that don't like smoke. So, like no fog here, like we've run into all that. And so, it's like, but if we have to change it, we will.
Yeah, and then we run into time where we just forget to bring the lights all together, and then it's like, oh, whoops, sorry guys.
I want it to be a smooth process overall, easy on the venue, and sound, and other bands, and enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. Portable fan's always good at a stoner show because there's just so much smoke everywhere in general anyway. Just so you actually see where you're going sometimes. It's kind of like I feel it's in I think it's one of the early Lord of the Ring movies where I think it's the party are going up like a mountainside or something, and there's like a whole blizzard going on and they can hardly see where they're going. I thought, that's pretty much what it's like at times. It's I get to the bar, I need to get whatever, and it's like. So do you have any more planned videos coming to support the album?
We're definitely in the works, so we're trying to kind of I think Onyx Stone might be the next one we do.
Nice.
But it's mainly right now it's just the end of the year, and we got like all this like shows coming up and these 2 tours, but there's definitely we got our plate full right now, but we definitely want to do that. But Onyx Stone is definitely one of the ones that we definitely want to do a video for. So
for real. And I've behaved myself. I've waited to ask you about the next releases, and I know Escape to Electric Land, it hasn't been out long, so I understand and appreciate the focus is going to be, on pushing the album, getting the word out about it, rightfully so. But have you started working on a follow-up release? Well, great. Are you going to go along the same? I'm going to behave so avoid trying to drop too many spoilers, which is going to be a habit of mine with movies where I give away the whole ending before someone's seen it. I'm like, so musically, kind of the same kind of direction and themes?
I think so. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I mean, well, just like that, that same cloth that that Escape to Electric Land was cut from, that cloth is big, you know, so there's a lot more cutting that needs to be done. So there's from that same place that album came from, there's a bunch of stuff around there that we haven't even had a chance to really address. So, but yeah, that we definitely are into that direction of what, you know, trying to stick to that organic thing. But there definitely is a lot more music. So
we've already started playing them live, a couple of them live. So, you know, luckily the ones that we were playing live, those are done. Now we've got to focus on a couple other ones over here.
A couple months, yeah. It's a lot to balance when you get holidays and stuff. So we'll have to get back to it. And,
it's gonna be quiet.
In a couple months, we'll probably release something in.
We might even have an album name, I think. Do we, Andy?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Chinese Democracy.
Oh, yeah.
That's the name of the next album. It'll be out in 2065.
It'll take them like 100 years to release it. That would be very accurate, that reference as well. Coming soon, sometime next century when we've colonized Mars, it'll be out. Which probably won't be that too long far away, actually. So that was a bad example.
Did you hear the General? Did you listen to the General yet? Axel's putting out like a bunch of B-sides and stuff to Chinese Democracy. There's like when they did that album, they did like 30 songs. So now like they only put out like 10, so there were 20 more. So now they're just like dropping one or two. But it's been like 10 years since that. So, but it's definitely not like it's not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how big of a fan you are of that band, but it's like it's out there. Yeah.
My friend Ross, who he runs his own channel called Planet X Films, and I co-host some interviews and movie reviews with him on that channel as well. And he's on here with me at times. He loves them. And he actually messaged me the other day on WhatsApp, and he said, "Gaz," he said, "you know, G and I've got a new track out." And I said, "Yeah, I'll peep it. I guess I'll see what it's like." I respect Slash, you know, the guitar player, the musicianship. It's Axl Rose. His vocals are just too whiny for me, and oh, shut up. But so I'm not the biggest fan, but I will approach it with an open mind. There'll be someone saying, "This dude was talking about being open-minded early to the music, and he's just slagged off my favorite band."
Yeah. I mean, I think it's okay to be critical of like the Giants, you know, because they're Giants, you know, they're the ones that get all the attention and, you know, all the fame.
There was a famous story of when they played the Download Festival over here quite some time ago. I think he made people wait. I think it was 90 minutes because he was having, a Yorkshire dinner or something. I was like, "Oh, get out of here, man!" I just thought, "Come on, man, I'm a rock star." And I just thought, "Get out of here, man!" It's like every band can smoke you anyway. So,
I believe it. Yeah. I think he threw Eagles of Death Metal off of a tour one time too, because it was he's definitely a character, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, I like what Slash has done with is it with Miles Kennedy, Slash and the Conspirators, I think.
No, I need to check that out though.
They're not bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like what he does there. And like I said, I think he's a great guitar player. I did hear, I think it was one of them dropped an acoustic EP. It wasn't Slash. Was it Dizzy Gillespie?
I know you're talking about. I heard it.
Oh God.
I thought it was okay. It was okay.
Right?
Well, we can leave it at that.
We'll leave it at we're on a difference. I was. I'll say I've heard a lot worse. I'll say that I've heard a hell of a lot worse, a real lot worse. So I wonder. We'll see. I guess I'll give you this. I guess the guy knows how to schedule in advance, so he's keeping this like it's like the Vatican of music, keeping this locked library of all this material, and I'll release this in 10 years. Then another one, like even when I'm not here, I'll still have things released forever. I don't need a hologram to represent me on stage because I'll still have albums coming out anyway.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's crazy.
So I'm curious as well with that for real. I'm curious as well with you all you know, being big music fans as well and drawing from all these different elements, who have been some of the influences on you, both playing style with instruments, vocally, and writing lyrics too?
I'm a huge Melvins fan. Huge.
Melvins
huge.
Awesome.
I love the Melvins. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know, that band's been together 40 years. And I mean, there's just so, you know, they're never scared to do anything. They take a lot of chances. They always like writing all this really cool, like interesting music. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. They're probably my number one as far as like, you know, being in like a DIY outfit band, you know, and out here trying to tour around in a van, and you know, because that's what they've done for 40 years. And but you know, I love that. I mean, I love tons of 70s stuff. I mean, I'm into like all like the big 70s things too, like, you know, Kiss and Van Halen and, you know, Black Sabbath and all that. But there's some new things too. Like I like Death Grips a lot, and they're like a weird kind of, I don't even know what that is. It's just crazy music. But
I am not Grips whatsoever. I can't do it.
I'm actually a big Elvis fan too. I like Elvis a lot. I always thought Elvis was like a joke, but then like I got this book that like his buddy wrote about him, and I was just like, wow, man, this dude like totally like was really talented, you know, and he wanted to do a lot of cool stuff, but like a lot of people took advantage of him, you know, and I just, you know, he grew on me a lot. You know?
Yeah.
We're like kind of the same age. He died when he was 42. So you know, he had a bunch of problems and stuff like that. But I could go on and on about music. But yeah, I mean, I like tons of stuff. But.
Yeah, it's very open as a whole, and
And
yeah, for real. I'd have to say, you know, Clutch, King's X, you know, some great American rock bands, and Steve said the Melvins. Yeah, they're pretty fucking awesome. And inspirational. A great band I just saw here. One of our favorites is Alabama Thunder Pussies, and just phenomenal musicians. You know, great musicians and local buddies. Go ahead, Brian.
I grew up listening to like Genesis and Yes, and you know, the Police and all this, you know, new wavy stuff too, but I didn't really start getting in, like in the 90s. I really liked Soundgarden, you know, and that was as heavy as I got. I didn't start getting into heavy music until I started playing it with Steven in 2006, you know, and I was like, I don't know, I really like Soundgarden and like these lower tune stuff. And he goes, oh, you like stoner rock? Here, listen to this. And I was like, hey, yeah, I like this stuff.
Yeah.
So, like,
oh yeah.
So Torch, I love Torch, and you know, kind of along those lines, I Torch, Weed Eater, stuff like that. But I didn't really get into that stuff until like kind of later in life, you know.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about influence, it's kind of like Genesis, Police, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of really into Napalm Death here lately. I don't know. I'm like new to the Napalm Death thing, but yeah, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I know that guy, Yezu or whatever. He had the I guess the first vocalist for Napalm Death. Yeah. I heard his solo stuff, and it was always really cool, you know. But yeah, that band's really cool. I'm definitely digging that.
Yeah, yeah, I love that band too, and Barney's legendary.
I should mention Merciful Fate, dude. Merciful Fate for vocal inspiration and lyrical.
Gosh,
yeah. I don't mention them enough, and they're amazing.
Yeah, they really are good inspiration for everyone. You know, it's good about the Melvins as well. They always have that fun aspect. There was that song about, funnily enough, no pun here, but there's the song about Brian, isn't it? And the chorus is really, was it Brian? I forgot the song now. We're live. But I know it's a song, and the chorus actually is about somebody called Brian. It's a Melvin song, and it's great. Great band to skate to as well. Fantastic. Death. Love the way Barney can still make his vocals clear, and they're insane as well, insanely. And So I always respect that. Lots of other bands come from them as well, which is stuff. You mentioned Soundgarden. Here's a band I want to recommend to you. They split up a long time ago. A Spanish band. They're called Horn of the Rhino. But check out their song Sovereign. It's about 10 minutes long. It is essentially, and I mean this in the nicest respect to Chris Cornell. It would be if Chris Cornell was a vocalist for a doom band. It's such a fantastic piece of music, and that band, sadly, man, miss them so much. A lot of people, yeah, Sovereign, Honor the Rhino, Sovereign. Honestly, if Soundgarden played Doom, that song would pretty much be it.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I logged it in. It'll be ready for me in the morning.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Right on.
Oh, he's welcome.
A lot of great bands from Mexico lately, yeah.
There's so many. I think that's a beauty as well with metal. Is wherever you go in the world, it can be the most remotest part. There's always somebody there that likes metal. There'll always be a band. It could be the only band in that entire country, or it could just be one metal guy, but there'll always be somebody there, and that's great stuff. I respect I've kept you here a while, and Andy, I can see you're in the dark now as well. Maybe not too comfortable. It's like you're joining us from a cave or something. A throwback to survival. Survival skills, man, isn't it? So I always like to give guests the opportunity to not only promote obviously the band and their album, but shout out anything else that they would like to as well at the end of the show. So the floor is yours for all of you. Anything you want to promote as well, feel free.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, for your interest in the band, and we really appreciate the time that we've had with you today, and the questions, and, all our conversation was awesome, man. It was like I definitely look forward to 2024. Like I said, we definitely plan on releasing a lot more music and music videos, and we definitely plan on doing a lot more shows, and we'll definitely see where it takes us. So who knows? Maybe next year we could be, in Europe. I don't know. Who knows? So, yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate you checking it out, and that's what we love to do, and we like to share it with as many as possible, and sharing their experiences, and hear their bands, and support and swap shows and info and all that stuff. So it's all good. Thank you.
Good.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I'm good.
And you're good, yeah. Simple one covered. No, you're all very welcome. I've really enjoyed it. Definitely would like to get you back on in 2024. Not only to help promote the tour, but talk about any new videos or the latest if working on new music then as well. Definitely, it'll definitely fit with MOSH SHINOBI, which the channel will turn into very, very quickly. So it was great stuff. But I loved it. Like I said, your music, I think it's very accessible for everyone that likes all of those elements, and it's still got that heaviness and nastiness to it as well, which is fantastic. So folks, don't forget to follow and support Blazoner. Just check the description later. I'll put all the links in there. Support, subscribe to the channel and stay up with everything that is going on. There will be a name change, which I'm working on doing very, very quickly. And I shall see you all on the next episode, which I believe is Tuesday. Once again, thanks to Blazoner. Really enjoyed it. And it's uncomfortable pause time, which everybody knows by now. We're hit end stream, and I look like I'm constipated again because there's a delay, and I'm like looking like this. Does it stop? So there we go.